Next, I want to take a look at creating a double plan sheet, sometimes used for things like traffic control or staging. This file is considered a preference file, again like the other, where the user selects this file when creating sheets. This preference file will support creating a plan DGN file or files. The DGN-lib format, where the starting file to use is a start seed DGN file for plan and or profile. A part of this process will generate a drawing model and sheet model within the file, storing the necessary properties. And then the sheet border will get attached to the sheet model as the last part of this exercise. So let's take a look. To create our plan, again, we need to take a look at our plan port dimensions. And so we're still going to have the 1400 feet, which is essentially our 2.333 times 50 scale times 12 for imperial. And then this time we're going to be at a height of 0.667, which equates down, if we take a look at our calculations, to a total height of 400, and we'll divide that by 2 for our left and right offset. Now what we'll do at this point, again, is we're going to exit our product, because when we're making sheet seed definitions, we need to come in clean without doing a files open or a file save as. We need to basically completely exit the product. So I'm copying our seed file again, giving a name plan sheet seed 50 scale, opening that file. So you'll see that name. Open that up. Once in the file, again, go back to our name boundary. We're going to set our scale. Once our scale is set, verify our length and our left and right offset. This time it's going to be half of 400, which is a minus 200 and a plus 200. If we want an overlap, we can put that in, populate our start location station, select our alignment, and then a single select. Make sure that you only place one name boundary in the plan view. We'll put in the name of the seed that we want the users to see in the drop-down. We'll pick our discipline again and select our purpose, which will be plan view here. If we have an annotation group for plan view, we can select that. We've set our scale for our plan. Again, it's 50 scale. Here's our plan grid. Make sure our detail scale is also 1 to 50 and 1 to 1 for our paper drawing ratio. And then select OK. Go ahead and grab the name boundary handle, move it over to the left. Then we want to go ahead and attach our border again. So Tools, Attach. Make sure you get the right model. This is our plan model. Then we want to go ahead and move our reference to the proper location of our plan port, our top plan port. So we'll move that up here, accept it. Go ahead and select your references, turn off your line scaling by reference scale. Close your reference dialog. Delete the drawing name boundary that was attached with the reference, so take that out. Now we need to go over in our sheet model and select our name boundary and go ahead and snap the corners. And anytime you move a reference that has this name boundary, you'll have to redo this part. Then we want to go to our admin tab or admin workflow and select to place drawing boundary. We're going to do our second plan port here. So we'll select that it is a civil plan is our port type and pick our scale of 1 inches 50 feet again. And this time we're going to snap to the upper left corner of our second port window and then our lower right corner, and then place the handle over on the left. Accept that and cancel the command. Then we want to go over to open our properties dialog. Verify this should be our drawing identifier number 1. I'm going to put a suffix on here of -top. We'll copy that name because we're going to use that down for the bottom, which is going to be drawing identifier 2. We'll paste that in there and change the suffix to bottom. Tab out of that. We can close our property dialog. Now we'll switch over to our drawing model. Do a fit view, save settings, our multi-model view. Go ahead and arrange those views the way you want them. Then we're going to go over to change our symbology, our drawing boundary. Again, so we'll select our draft name boundary by level, transparency, and construction class. Then we want to clear out all of our annotation definitions, groups, feature symbologies and feature definitions. If there's any in here, you want to make sure and delete them. Same thing with element templates. Make sure there's no element templates in here. Those should be clean. Then we'll jump back over to our sheet model. And we're going to compress the file and save our settings. And we're done with this one. Now I want to take a look at creating a profile-only sheet seed definition file. Again, this file is going to be a preference file. It's stored in a dgnlib, and it's going to support creating a profile-only dgn file. The dgnlib format, where the starting file to use is a start seed dgn file for plan and/or profile we created earlier. A part of this process will generate a drawing model and a sheet model within the file, storing the necessary properties, and then lastly, that sheet border is going to get attached as a sheet model as the part of the exercise, or you can also place that as a cell. To create our profile only sheet, again, we'll want to measure our distances. So we have the 2.33 for the horizontal and the 1.333 vertical. But if we take a look at our math, we want to do an exaggeration of 5. So our horizontal calculation is the same. Our vertical is going to be 1.333 times 50 times 12. But then we have to divide that by our vertical exaggeration of 5 for our profile port height. Again, we're going to exit the product. We're going to make a copy of our seed file. We're going to paste it and give it a new name. So profile sheet seed 50 scale.dgnlib. Again, we want to come into that clean, making sure the project is first exited and then come back in and open. Once in, we're going to go back to our name boundary tools. This time we're going to select our profile mode. We're going to select our scale of 1 inch is 50 feet again for profile. And all of the entries here that I'm showing, those will all be completed by the user. They're not saved in the seed file, but once we get to our length and our vertical exaggeration, again, you got to take the 800 divided by the vertical exaggeration of 5 to get 160. Top clearance is to force the profile down a little bit, and so it won't be right on the top. Your elevation datum spacing is usually your major grid spacing and elevation, same on your horizontal for your station. I typically like to center it along the active profile, and so I'll leave that one on. Select our profile, lock in that start station, and accept that, and make sure you only draw in one name boundary. Accept that again, and it'll take us to our next dialog. Go ahead and give it the name of the sheet seed that you want the users to see. So ANSI profile 50 scale. We'll select civil, and we're going to then select elevation view and our 50 scale. This time, make sure that we also choose our profile grid, part of our annotation groups that's been pre-configured. Verify our detail scale is 50 to 50 and our paper drawing ratio is 1, and select OK. Go ahead and pull our name boundary handle over to the left again. We're going to again attach our border, and you could place a cell here for the border either way. Some people will attach the reference and then go ahead and merge to master. Go ahead and select the proper model. Then we'll select our references and turn off scaling by reference. Let's go ahead and move now to the proper location. So we'll snap that to the upper left corner. Go ahead and delete our name boundary identifier for our reference file. And then for our main name boundary, we're going to go ahead and fix those snap corners. Do our fit view. And then we can save settings. Make sure that we have our fit view for our drawing model set up. And then we'll go back to our multi-model view. Do a little cleanup here. So again, we're going to go back to our drawing tab and change our attributes on our drawing boundary to the draft name boundary, in our case, level, color, style, weight by level. Then we'll go to Explorer, and we'll go ahead and set these to make sure we don't have anything copied over, and we will this time because we selected the profile grid, so we have to take that back out of this file. It's just part of the process. So the annotation definitions as well as your groups. So we'll delete those. And then just verify that you don't have any other feature symbologies or feature definitions in here. and then double check your element templates as well. Make sure there's no element templates in here. Once that's all done, we're going to switch back to our sheet model. And in our sheet model, we'll go ahead and compress the design. And then lastly, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the construction class. And then let's save those settings and we're done. Now let's step it up a notch and set up a Sheet C definition preference DGN library for our plan and profile sheet. Again, this is going to be considered a preference file. The user is going to select when creating the plan and profile DGN file in the DGN lib format as the others. And we're going to be using the plan and or profile starter seed file again. Part of this process again is going to generate a drawing model and a sheet model within that file, storing the necessary properties. And then the sheet border is going to get attached again to the sheet model as the last part of this exercise. So let's take a look at creating a plan and profile sheet C definition DGN library. For our plan and profile sheet, again, we want to get our dimensions for our horizontal and vertical for each of our ports and write those down. If we take a look at the math, again, if we assume a vertical exaggeration of 5, you will see here we do the same math that we've done in prior examples, except our profile height is now 400 divided by 5, which gives us a total height of 80 because we're doing a plan and profile sheet combination. So let's go ahead and exit the product. And we're going to take our seed file and make a copy of it, give it a new name. So this is going to be our plan and profile sheet seed 50 scale DGN lib. So let's open that up. Again, open it clean, coming in fresh. Back to our name boundary tools and make sure we switch to our plan mode. Select our 50 scale. Verify our length and our offsets of -200 and +200 in this example for a total port height of 400 for our plan. Select our start station field and pick our alignment, lock that to the beginning. Accept that and only place one name boundary. Then we need to give it the name that the user will see for the plan port portion, and notice the words plan port in there. Civil, plan view, 50 scale for our drawing model, and then verify everything else is set properly. Select OK. Go ahead and move our named boundary handle, and we'll attach our border. And select open. Make sure we have the right model chosen. OK. And we go ahead and select those and turn off the scale by reference. Then we want to move our plan port to the upper corner of our pre-configured boundary. Then we want to change the name boundary corners to snap to our physical location of our boundary location. Save those settings and delete the name boundary handle for the border of the reference. Now let's jump back to our multi-model view, and this time we got to develop the profile port. So back to our name boundary tool. This time we'll use the profile port. We are selecting our scale of 50 again. And again, the users will be picking this information at the top. You want to change to plan group. Verify your vertical exaggeration, set your proper profile height based on our math, and then we'll select our profile and accept it. Switch to the profile mode here, and we want to go ahead and give it a discipline of civil and a section view, elevation view, and select our profile grid. Very important step here is you don't want to make a new sheet model. You want to go back to your existing sheet model you already created. So don't miss that step. Then we want to give it a title. And this is for our profile port. And then we'll select OK. Again, let's go ahead and drag this over to the left our handle for our name boundary. And we'll go back to our references, select that profile port boundary, and let's go ahead and turn off the line style scale for the reference, and then we're going to head and move that. Looks like I missed my corner there. Let's try that again. There we go. Do a fit view, go ahead and close that, and then we need to fix our snap corners again. At this point, we can go ahead and turn off our construction class here. We'll jump back over to each of our drawing boundaries and just do a fit view and save settings, just to keep it nice and clean and consistent. We'll go back to our multi-model view, do some house cleaning here. So we'll go to our drawing, and we will change the attributes of our two boundaries, now one for plan and one for profile. Go into Explore, clean up our annotation groups that were copied in when we selected them. So make sure you get the definitions as well. So we're going to have an entry under our profile drawing for our definition and for our group. So delete those. Verify no symbologies or definitions are in the file. And verify no element templates are in the file. Close that. Now we go back to our sheet model, and we can compress the file and save our settings. And last but certainly not least is setting up the sheet seed definition for a cross-section file. And again, it's going to be considered a preference file the user selects, and it's going to support creating a cross-section DGN file in a DGN-lib format. We're going to be using the starter seed now for the cross-sections that we created. We're going to be generating a drawing model and sheet model again within this file that's going to store the necessary properties. And then lastly, don't forget about that sheet border. We'll be able to attach that to our sheet model or place it as a cell. So let's take a look at this last one. Cross-section sheet seeds are a little bit different. We don't really have a boundary to snap to because we're going to be making our own physical size boundary and positioning it. So I want to go ahead and exit out and copy our seed file and give it a name. So we'll call this one cross-section start seed for our 10 scale DGN lib, and let's go ahead and open that. Once opened, again, we'll go to our name boundary, select our cross-section mode, select our scale. In this instance, 1 inch is 10 feet. And we're also going to be doing a vertical exaggeration of 2. We're going to have a left and right offset of -125. And our top clearance, which allows for top annotation above the cross-section, is 8. Bottom clearance is 1 in this example. And those are things that you'll have to play around with a little bit. We need to set a singular station for the start and stop. It needs to be the same value. I'm just going to pick our station here of 50 and accept that in my plan view. Be 3 accepts to get all the way to the next dialog, and so we'll give it our title here, NCD cross sections 10 scale, civil, section view. Again, set our scale for our drawing model, 10. Select our cross section grid with annotation. Verify our detail scale is correct and our 1:1 paper drawing scale ratio. If you want a different sheet size, you can go in and select it manually here so it overrides the initial variable setting. I'm going to cancel and use the full size here. Select OK. We'll pull out the name boundary handle, attach our border, and again you could place a cell here or you can attach the reference and merge master in. Make sure you have the right model. So there's our border for our cross sections. Let's go ahead and turn off the reference scaling of the line styles. We want to go ahead and move this I typically use AccuDraw so I can lock it in. And I'm going to move this down And just give it a little bit of a margin down at the bottom. Don't have to be too much. Once that's moved, you can go ahead and close your reference dialog and then fix your snap corners for your name boundary clip. Close AccuDraw. Now we've got a little bit of cleanup work to do, so we'll save our settings. I'm going to go ahead and open up Properties. Go ahead and delete the name boundary handle for the reference of the title block, and then select the properties of our main name boundary. We're going to go to the extended category, change your display style to wireframe so that we don't have material showing up on our cross sections. And we're going to do that throughout all of the models. So we'll switch over to our drawing model. And again, we'll do our fit view as normal, and we'll select and then navigate down to select your wireframe option on your cut display style. And we'll do the same thing in the multi-model view. So we'll select our name boundary there. Expand down to your shape and choose wireframe again. Once that's done, then we can go ahead and select our 2D plan view, and one last change there to wireframe. And we'll go ahead now and set our name boundary to our proper level, color, style, weight, transparency, and class. Make sure that we get rid of our annotation definitions and groups, and this is just going to be for our cross sections. I can select those all, right click and delete. Go to our annotation group. Got to expand the folder, delete it. Verify no symbologies for our features or definitions are there. Same thing with our element templates. Those are clean. We can close Explore. And we'll switch back over to our sheet model. And we can do a fit view. And let's go ahead and compress our design. And then lastly, save our settings. And we are ready to cut our 10 and 2 cross sections. This concludes our presentation on setting up sheet seed definitions. I hope you found this informative. And as always, please don't hesitate to log a service request if you need additional assistance. Thank you for your time.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.